Starting off with the Angels, and I got Reed Detmers. Now, I feel like a lot of people have written him off because he hasn't fully found his way at the major league level, but this year, though, he's showing a lot of good things out of the bullpen. Now, sure, ERA is at a 4.73, but the FIP is much better at a 2.82, and he's striking out over 11 batters per nine, while only giving up half a home run per nine. On to the Astros, and how in the world is Jeremy Pena not being talked about more? Now, of course, shortstop Jacob Wilson for the A's is having a breakout rookie season. Bobby Witt Jr. is always putting up MVP numbers, but Jeremy Pena is having a better season right now offensively than Bobby Witt Jr., and he's having a better season overall than Wilson when you factor in the defense. Now, he's hitting .324, on base at a .380, slugging at a .482. He's got 10 homers, 15 stolen bases to go along with it, and defensively, he has 3 outs above average, and he ranks third among shortstops in defensive runs saved with 8. Speaking of the A's, I got to go with Nick Kurtz. Now, the story for the A's this year has been Jacob Wilson and his breakout rookie season at shortstop, like I just mentioned, but I got to show some love for Kurtz here. He was the number 4 pick from the draft last year, and after getting called up, he was a little slow right out of the gate, but he's gotten hot lately, 10 home runs already through 28 games. For the Blue Jays, I'll go with Addison Barger. Now, the Blue Jays are right in the mix for a wild card spot right now, and I think a lot of people are just automatically going to think of Vlad or Bo Bichette, but Barger is quietly having a solid season, WRC plus at a 132 with an OPS of 832. The Braves have had some trouble this year, but one guy helping keep them afloat is Nick Allen. Now, sure, his offense isn't really doing all that much, but his defense at shortstop has been some of the best in the game. In fact, only Bobby Witt Jr. has more outs above average at shortstop than him. On to the Brewers, and I got to go with Chad Patrick here. Now, everyone usually has their eyes on Freddie Peralta when it comes to the Brewers pitching, and lately, top pitching prospect Jacob Messerowski has been making a lot of noise, but Patrick is quietly putting together a solid rookie season. Over 15 starts, ERA at a 3.50, FIP at a 3.59, good strikeout to walk ratio. Not bad for a guy who came over in a low-key trade a couple of off seasons ago for Abraham Toro. For the Cardinals, I go with Victor Scott. Now, like I said earlier with Nick Allen, not too much going on with the bat here, but Scott is getting on base at a decent rate with a 331 on base, and he's stealing a lot of bases. He ranks in the top 5 in stolen bases in the majors right now, while ranking 4th overall in outs above average in center field, only behind Pete Crow Armstrong, Cedar Rafaela, and Julio Rodriguez. For the Cubs, I'll go with Matthew Boyd. Now, the Cubs offense has been great this year, but the pitching has had its issues with Justin Steele out for the year and Shota Imanaga on the IL, but the guy keeping them afloat in the rotation, though, is Matthew Boyd. He's having a solid year, ERA at a 2.84, FIP at a 3.65. I think people just forget about him because he missed a lot of time with Tommy John, hasn't had a whole lot of success in his career, and he's not really a bigger name starting pitcher in the National League like, say, Yoshinobu Yamamoto or Paul Skeens, but this guy is having a great year so far. On to the Diamondbacks, and I go with Geraldo Perdomo here. Now, while the D-backs have underperformed this year, a lot of attention has been on both Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte with the great years they're having, but Perdomo, though, is quietly having himself a good year and the best year of his career so far. In fact, so far, he's having a slightly better season than Mookie Betts up to this point, posting an OPS at 769 with 11 stolen bases and solid defense at shortstop. Speaking of Mookie Betts, for the Dodgers, I'll go with Ben Kasparius. Now, with the Dodgers, you know the drill. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie Freeman, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the list goes on and on. But I wonder if people see the solid rookie season Ben Kasparius is having right now. Now, he's mostly pitched out of the bullpen with a couple of starts, but he's been very flexible in that role, either going one inning or multiple innings at a time, while posting a solid ERA at 3.02. But look at the FIP, a 2.23. That's because he has a very low walk rate, and he's only given up 2 home runs on the year so far. On to the Giants, and I'll go with Robbie Ray here. Now, of course, all the talk lately has been on the Rafi Devers trade, but before that, you had guys like Jung-Hoo Lee having a good year, and of course, Logan Webb is always having a good year. But one guy I feel like I haven't heard much of is Robbie Ray, who's having a great bounce back season. Remember, he got Tommy John not too long ago. He came back last year, he was doing all right, but so far, through 16 starts, ERA at a 2.83 and 10 strikeouts per nine, it's his best year since 2021 with the Blue Jays. For the Guardians, I got to go with Daniel Schneemann, one of my favorite names out there, Daniel Schneemann. I love saying that name, but he's kind of doing what David Fry was doing last year, putting up pretty solid production while going under the radar after multiple years in the minor leagues. So far this year, he's got a WRC plus at 106. He's got 8 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and he's playing good defense all over the field. On to the Mariners, and I go with J.P. Crawford. Now, with the Mariners this year, the story has been Cal Raleigh, who's having a tremendous year on pace pace for like 800 home runs at this point and an OPS over 1,000 while also playing great defense behind the plate. The year he's having is absolutely tremendous. And then you got guys like Julio Rodriguez as well. That's one of the young stars in the game. But J.P. Crawford is having a very good bounce back season. Remember, he wasn't very good last year, but this year he's going under the radar. He's hitting .290, has an on base at .408 while having a WRC plus at 143. For the Marlins, I got Dane Myers. Now, there's not much going on with the Marlins right now, but the two players that have gotten the most attention for them are Sandy Alcantara, who could be a big trade candidate at the deadline this year, and Kyle Stowers, who's making the Orioles look very bad after getting traded to the Marlins last season in the Trevor Rogers trade. But one guy who's having a very good year so far is Dane Myers, and I feel like probably not a lot of people have heard about him because he's been in the minor leagues for a while, both with the Detroit Tigers and the Marlins before coming up. Now, this year he's hitting .322, .374 on base is very good, a .462 on the slugging, a .133 WRC plus. He's hitting some homers, he's got some stolen bases as well, and he's playing some pretty good defense in center field. On to the Mets, and I got Tyrone Taylor here. Now, as you can see, not great numbers offensively, hitting .235, a .296 on base, a .343 on the slugging, an 82 WRC plus. So you might be asking me, Robbie, why the heck are you talking about Tyrone Taylor here? Well, there's two things he's doing very well this year. That's defense and hitting in the clutch. Now, as you can see here on StatCast, you got a whole bunch of reds for the glove. He's been great in center field this year while Jose Siri's been out so far with a shin fracture. And take a look at these numbers in high leverage spots. He's hitting .462 in these situations, and his WRC plus in these spots is .240. This guy is very clutch, and he's come up big for the Mets this year so far. Hey everybody, just letting you know this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the best place to play fantasy sports this season. Use code HYDE to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's a great deal. Take advantage. That's free money to just get in the game. Whether you're just drafting a best ball team or making pick'em entries, Underdog makes it simple, fast, and super fun. You can win real money by just picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. No season-long stress, no waivers, no drama. Again, use the code HYDE at sign up to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Download the app, and we got the QR code right here on the screen. Go take advantage. Go win yourself some money. And of course, like always, please play responsibly. For the Nationals, I got Mackenzie Gore. Now, I know a lot of people out there probably recognize that he's been good, but I wonder if people out there realize that he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, posting an ERA at a 3.19, FIP at a 2.92, while striking out almost 12 batters per nine at 11.9, the highest in the major league so far. He currently ranks 8th overall in Fangraph wins above replacement with a 2.6, which is ahead of guys like Chris Sale, Hunter Brown, and Jacob deGrom. For the Orioles, I got Ramon Laureano. Now, for the Orioles this year, it hasn't been a great season, very disappointing, but Laureano is having his best season since 2021 when he was with the A's, has an 826 OPS with a 131 WRC plus. On to the Padres, and I got Adrian Morejon. Now, obviously for the Padres, they got big names like Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado for the lineup, while Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta have been holding it down in the rotation while Michael King's out with a shoulder issue, along with closer Robert Suarez, who has 21 saves so far. But Morejon has done a great job at the back end of the bullpen behind Suarez, posting an ERA at a 2.23, FIP at a 2.11, with a very good strikeout to walk ratio. For the Phillies, I got Matt Strahm. Now, recently, the Phillies lost Jose Alvarado because he got suspended for PEDs, but Matt Strahm, I feel like, is one of the more underrated relievers out there. He's always done a great job at the back end of the bullpen. So far this year, he's having a very good year. 3.86 ERA might look a little high, but the FIP is a lot better, a full run lower at 2.83. He's getting a good amount of strikeouts, 10.3 strikeouts per nine, a low walk rate at 2.3, and under a home run per nine. Matt Strahm is keeping this bullpen afloat. Not much going on for the Pirates this year outside of Paul Skeens, but Mitch Keller continues to be very steady for them. ERA is in the 4s at a 4.02, but the FIP is a lot better at a 3.23. That's thanks to a huge reduction in home runs allowed compared to last year, and he is keeping the walk rate low too. For the Rangers, I got Patrick Corbin. Now, the Rangers have struggled offensively this year, but they're getting great pitching both in the rotation and the bullpen with guys like Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Tyler Mahle having good years. But I wonder if people realize that Patrick Corbin is on pace for his best ERA since 2019. Now, sure, the FIP is high at a 4.59. He's giving up a decent amount of home runs, but for the most part, he's getting the job done. For the Rays, I got Jake Mangum. Now, the Rays are once again flying under the radar radar for a wild card spot, but it seems like most of the attention in the lineup is going to guys like Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero, veterans like Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lau, but Mangum, he's having himself a pretty solid year. He's hitting .310, on base at a .351. The slugging isn't very high, but a decent WRC plus at 111, and he's playing all 3 outfield spots. On to my Red Sox, and I got to go with Cedar Rafaela. And of course, all of the talk lately has been on the Rafi Devers trade, Roman Anthony getting called up recently, Alex Bregman was doing well before getting hurt, Garrett Crochet being one of the best pitchers in baseball. However, Cedar Rafaela, I think, is having a very underrated year. Now, as of right now, he has the 4th highest Fangraph wins above replacement on the team, thanks to phenomenal defense out in center field, along with 7 home runs. He actually just hit his 8th home run today, and 10 stolen bases on the year. He's also been very clutch while hitting .303 with an .839 OPS in high leverage situations. The Reds have hung around in the wild card race up to this point thanks to great pitching and Elly De La Cruz having another good year, but I think their leadoff hitter TJ Friedl goes a bit under the radar. He ranks 5th overall among all center fielders right now in Fangraph wins above replacement, and he's got a solid slash line. He's hitting .289, a .380 on base, a .436 on the slugging, and a .125 WRC plus. While the Rockies stink this year, but catcher Hunter Goodman has put up some solid numbers. As of right now, he ranks 5th overall among all catchers in Fangraph wins above replacement with a 1.6. He is hitting .284, a .328 on base, a .514 slugging is pretty good, 14 home runs as well, and that ranks 2nd in the majors, only behind Cal Raleigh, who's been pretty much an alien this year. On to the Royals, and I go with rookie Noah Cameron. Now, because the Royals already have so much good starting pitching, like Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, Chris Bubick having a breakout year, along with other big-name rookies out there like Jacob Wilson, the #1 prospect in baseball, Roman Anthony just getting called up recently, and another rookie on the same team as Noah Cameron, Jack Caglione, getting all the attention. I feel like he's flying under the radar this year. He's putting up really good numbers. 8 starts, ERA at a 2.08. That actually ranks 2nd overall among all rookie starting pitchers so far this year. For the Tigers, I got Dylan Dingler. Now, earlier I mentioned another catcher in the American League, Cal Raleigh, with the big year he's having, and even Carlos Narvaez on the Red Sox has been drawing headlines with his breakout year. So to me, I feel like Dylan Dingler has flown a bit under the radar. Now, he's got a pretty respectable OPS of 726 with 7 homers. He's got a decent slugging at 424, a 104 WRC plus, but where he's most valuable is behind the plate. He ranks 5th overall in the major leagues in defense, ranking near the top in blocks above average and framing. On to the Twins, and the usual suspects like Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa draw the most headlines for the Twins, but Willie Castro is having a solid year, and I feel like he's not getting a whole lot of attention. Now, pretty much he plays everywhere, pretty much every position that you can think of, he plays there, and he's having a solid year at the plate. He's hitting .280, .362 on base, .456 on the slugging, and a .133 WRC plus, and he is playing pretty solid defense. On to the White Sox, and I got Shane Smith. Now, we all know the deal with the White Sox. They're in a rebuild, so hopefully Shane Smith's good year does not get forgotten. Now, among all pitchers with at least 50 innings pitched, he has the 8th lowest home run per 9 rate with 0.5 per 9, and he ranks in the top 25% in ERA with a 2.85 over 14 starts. And last but not least, for the Yankees, I'll go with Clark Schmidt, who actually had a no-hitter going this past weekend through 7 innings, but I feel like most of the attention has been going to Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, with the good years they're having, helping lead the way with Garrett Cole and Luis Gil out. But Schmidt, he's been anchoring the rest of the rotation here through 12 starts, ERA at 2.84, FIP at a 3.48. He's been a workhorse of a guy for the Yankees this year, and I think he's pretty underrated. But everybody, that's what I think. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Which other players do you think are underrated? Let me know down below. But everybody, that's all I got for right now. If you can on the way out, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.